this instalment I really wanted to illustrate the challenges of handling some at this size in basically a domestic garage. You know, we're not a commercial operation here, so you know it is a challenge. There's no two ways about it. She's an heavy old lump, but we've got the diff out. I know there's about 3 people in the world who'll find it interesting, but I'm one of them. And hopefully my mate Richard's the other. Well done, Richard. Well, I'm having a few technical difficulties on the filming side. The software I was using, they've updated it and I can't get it to work anymore. So I've had to go to a different open source free editing software kit. And again, that's a bit of a learning curve, but we're getting there. It's a bit like a new mobile phone. I'm sure I'll love it in a couple of weeks. But have a look at this instalment and I'll see you at the end of it. Good show. Right, morning all. Today we're definitely pulling that diff out of this axle casing. So I've removed the nuts that retain the differential in the axle casing. A few of the studs have pulled. Let's get the crane built, get it on the hook. I don't see us doing a lot to the diff. The reason for removing the diff is not to play with the diff, it's to repair the axle casing, to get the springs off, and obviously to refinish it properly. We've got some leaks, there's no two ways about it, we've got some leaks. It's the Foden diff at the end of the day, we've got some leaks. But the diff itself drove really well, it feels really smooth. We're going to have a bit of a tinker with it and a bit of a clean up, but we don't expect us to do anything too big. Good show. In its current format, with the 2 springs, the axle casing and the diff, it's going to be a massive test for this crane. But what I want to do in this first stage is raise it up, undo that bolt there, which is 3/4 width by the look of it, and drain out the oil. We'll then start to see how we're going about actually lifting the diff out of the casing. Unsurprisingly, we've got it in the air, but the diff itself is still stuck in the casing. We are going to need some percussion on that, but let's get the oil draining first. I'm curious to see how much oil we've actually got in this, because I bought this lorry in 2004. I've never touched the oil and it's never stopped leaking. If we'd more of these, we wouldn't need Russian oil, would we? Anybody else panicking? I think we're going to have some water here, chaps. Oh, look at that. That's lovely and clear. You know, she's had some maintenance, this old girl has. And again, even the residue off the nut isn't bad. You know, she's in fair order, fair order. Right, so where we are now is we've got a little bit of tension on the crane. We've got some blocks underneath either side. I've put a couple of nuts on either side. We're going to give the crane a little bit more tension just to lift off those blocks, and then we're going to give it some percussion. And this will just pop apart dead easy, and yeah, it'll be lovely. So we've got some weight there, we're just about airborne. Yeah, I mean that doesn't sound absolutely solid, does it? Answers on a postcard. I'm going to jack it up a little bit more, and then we're going to continue. We've got a couple of nuts on there that should catch the diff if anything decides to part company, which is looking a bit bloody remote if I'm honest. Really not happy doing this, but what do you do? What do you do? Right, that's it, back down onto the mounting. And I'm going to wind that nut off again so we can catch it if we need to. So we've levelled it up. Hopefully if we put a chisel in this side now, we might just spring that back edge. I doubt it. I do doubt that, but you never know. Well, I definitely think we've got more of a lift around this back edge now than we had previously. Nothing wrong with a bit of wishful thinking. Oh aye, we've definitely got it worried now. We've got a nice parting now. We're definitely seeing some movement. We haven't had that much movement on this back stud. This is over. Over and done with this. We've never said that before, have we? Yeah, hold your horses, it's on its way. It looks like it's got a bit of white silicone in there, so there we go, she's gone. She's gone. That's lovely, that. Them two studs that we put in, or nuts that we put on, however you want to call it, are now retaining it. Right, we're in a reasonably good place now with this. We've got the axle complete sat on this frame. Frame was sat on these axle stands, and that's so I can get the crane in and out. We're going to lift the diff out, and if you look up here you'll notice that I've actually brought the crane in another notch. It's its maximum lift. We were on the third hole, which is about 750 kilos. We're now at 1,000 kilos, which should mean we should be able to get plenty height on that diff and lift it out. Should be able to lift now. I've got my screwdriver with me just to give the tight spots a pry where they need to be. That's got it worried. Clear of all the studs by the look of it, yeah. Surprisingly, I thought there was sealant on there, but it isn't. It's just paper gasket. Right. This is exciting, isn't it? And actually phosphor bronze diff, that. Obviously you've now seen how we've ended up with the axle turned over, and not really a lot gone on for the length of time we messed about with it, but obviously it did show some of the trials and tribulations of handling something this large in the garage on my own. Next job is obviously springs off. We've got some plans around that. Hey up, how are you going on with that software? Well, I'm getting there, but I'm struggling with the titles. Well, I can help you out with that. Really? How's that then? What's this? Thanks for watching.